The views expressed are not necessarily those of KSCJ and Powell Broadcasting Company. This program is not intended to replace the advice of doctors or other clinical providers. Consult with your practitioner to ensure the proper course of action for you.
Welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well on AM 1360, FM 94.9 KSCJ. This program is dedicated to your mental health wellness and brought to you by Family Services. Here's your host, Art Silva.
Good morning, Siouxland, and welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well. This show is all about your mental wellness environment and how you can help yourself navigate the daily highway of life. It's the little things or sometimes larger issues that can take us off-road. Our goal is to inform and provide information that will help direct individuals to community resources that can help cope with life's mental health challenges. I'm Art Silva, and our show is brought to you by Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, serving the Siouxland community since 1894. Well, let's face it, getting a ticket for an infraction can be bad for your mental health. Our guest today is Sergeant Tom Gill of the Sioux City Police Department. He's going to educate us on the new laws that took effect on July 1st. Good morning, Sergeant Gill.
Good morning, Art, and good morning, everybody out there.
Yeah, glad to have you here again, and it's always good to see you, and I know you're probably one of the busiest guys in Sioux City, especially at holiday time.
Oh, yeah. Some days gets pretty busy around the police department.
Well, thanks for making some time today. So before we get going, let's get a little background on you.
Sure. So I grew up here in Sioux City. I went to Bishop Heelan High School, went to Catholic school pretty much my entire life. After high school, I went to Westmar College in Lamars. I played football there for 4 years, had a great time. I started out in education. I was going to be a high school teacher and a football coach. I then switched my major to business because somebody told me back then that I could make a lot more money in business. And I don't know if you've taken business classes in college, Art, but those are some tough and some boring classes. And you know, my college roommate Dan Wobinaw is a business professor at Morningside, and I always give him a hard time. I said, Dan, those business classes are super boring. But he says, no, I assure you they're different now than they were back in the 80s and in the early 90s when I was in college. But anyway, after about a semester of taking business classes, I then switched to psychology, sociology, criminal justice type courses, which really were interesting to me. They were more hands-on. So my degree's in sociology. I have a minor in criminal justice, and I've been a police officer now going on 30 years.
Wow, 30 years?
30 years. So it's been a long time. And I did put my coaching certification to use too. I coached high school football in Sergeant Bluff for a number of years. I still coach track at the high school in Sergeant Bluff, both boys and girls track. So that keeps me busy on my off-duty time.
You're giving something back. Well, you've been busy.
I have been, yes, but that's the way I like it. I like to be busy.
I'll share a common denominator we have. I was a teacher also, and I went and I taught, and then I realized firsthand that you don't make a lot of money. I was making $9,000 a year back in 1972 teaching, and I was working two other jobs. One as a security guard at a mall, and I had the Patriots home games, and I did security there. We had the Army MPs come in, but I ended up in the same spot. I wasn't going to make any money teaching, and it's too bad because that is such an underpaid profession.
No doubt.
It's so important. But
very important.
But we move on, and I ended up here. We all take different paths, so that's pretty interesting, Sergeant.
Yeah. Working with teachers, I tell you what, I have a great respect for teachers. Yeah. And I think here in a few years, when I can retire from the police department, I'd like to teach at the college level. I'd like to go in and use that education background and teach college level criminal justice, police science type classes. I think that would be fitting. I will continue to coach and do all that, but I think it's a great thing. And they are underpaid and they are underappreciated, but those teachers we have out there are so important to our kids.
Absolutely, so important. Give me a little background on what, I know you head up the community policing, so let's explain community policing to our audience.
Sure. So community policing is the heart of the Sioux City Police Department. That's getting out of the squad car, interacting with the public, hosting community events. Like we host a national night out at 7 different locations around Sioux City. That's a big one coming up in August here. It's always the first Tuesday in August. We partner with Unity in the Community for a block party. We did just change the date recently for that block party. As a matter of fact, it's now Saturday, September 6th. It'll go from 11 until 1 p.m. And we're going to host it this year at the riverfront at the park there. So it's going to be, hopefully it's a great Saturday morning, and we have a great turnout for that event. But it's about getting out of the squad cars, interacting with the public. You know, one of the things we have going on right now is we partnered with Opportunities Unlimited again and the Siouxland Dairy Queens to hand out tickets to kids that are wearing a helmet on a bicycle. And it's a great ticket because it gives you a free ice cream cone at the Dairy Queen. So that's the kind of ticket you want to get.
I have to remember that. You know, say, you guys giving out any ice cream today or anything?
Wear your helmet.
I behave myself. Just wear my helmet. That's all. Hey, I'm Art Silva, and you're listening to When Things Aren't Going Well, and I'm along with Sergeant Tom Gill of the Sioux City Police Department. And we're talking about community policing and what Tom does, but we're really going to educate you on what the new laws are that are changing, that have changed on July 1st, and that you can be aware. So with that, let me get back to my questions. Sergeant, I know that, mental health in the community is really taking a top spot, and I know we have crisis intervention. Can you describe how you interact with crisis intervention?
Sure. So probably the majority of the calls that our patrol officers go on is someone that's dealing with a mental health crisis. And we do have some training in dealing with, people involved in a mental health crisis, but not like a social worker or someone like that. So we do make referrals to Siouxland Mental Health. We work a lot with them, and they have a mobile crisis unit that's called MCAT. So we put that to use quite a bit. And then, for example, let's say it's 2:00 in the morning, and which is a lot of times when we get some of these kind of calls, and we go to a residence and there's a family member that's experiencing, some type of a mental health crisis. They might be, suicidal, something like that. We will call what we call the MCAT, or the mobile crisis unit, from Siouxland Mental Health. They'll come out 24 hours a day. They'll basically take over that situation and get that person the help that they need.
Those mental health calls can be long in endurance, so it's good that it frees up the police officers to go off and take care of other issues happening in the city.
And that's exactly right. If that person needs to go to the hospital, we might transport them to the hospital and then and drop them off there, and then the representative from Siouxland Mental Health will deal with that person the rest of the night.
You gotta, you talk the talk, walk the walk. You do that. Sergeant Gill is also a member of the Boys and Girls Home Family Services Residential Treatment Board. So he gets a chance to get updated on what we're doing, some of the issues in the city. And I think it's a perfect blending of education, knowledge, what's going on, and it goes both ways. So thank you for your service on the board and looking out for our kids and the whole police department, because they keep a good eye out for our children.
Sure, and I love kids. I've been coaching kids since 1994, so it's been quite a while. And
there are days, Tom, where I'd rather go talk to the kids than the adults. Believe me.
Oh, no doubt.
The kids are just straight up tell you what's going on.
Right. The kids are honest. They're straightforward, and some of these kids, they see a lot. They see a lot as young kids, and most of the kids that we see, coming through the Boys and Girls Home, they're experiencing trauma in their lives. Like sometimes we don't understand it.
It's a different world out there for sure. Let me ask you something, and this is something we've all kind of seen, experienced, whatever, but how's the new jail working out?
So the new jail is nice. It's a beautiful facility. I don't know if you've been there on a tour.
Yes, I have. Yep.
But it's a beautiful facility. Now we have our courtrooms there for the misdemeanor type of cases, county attorney's office. So it is a beautiful facility. I think it's been working out. There was some issues as far as transportation, because a lot of these folks sometimes that are brought to jail and released, they come back to the downtown area, or maybe they stay at the warming shelter. So I think they're getting those things ironed out. But I think so far it's been very successful where it's located.
That's good to hear, and hopefully it makes your job a little bit easier. Did their activity pick up in the summertime, police activity?
Yes. Anytime it gets warmer, the weather gets nicer, people are outside doing things, then the calls for service do pick up in the summer quite a bit.
You guys are always busy, and we're blessed to have a great police department in Sioux City, and thank you for that. Hey, we're coming up on our break right now, so don't change that dial. We'll be right back with more When Things Aren't Going Well, right here on 1360 AM, 90.9 FM, KSCJ.
Oh, I forgot to take the garbage out again. My teen came home who knows when last night. That guy just cut me off. My boss totally doesn't get what I'm trying to do for his company. When will I enjoy life again? Will I ever catch up? I really should visit my parents soon before it's too late. Why is this guy in front of me stopping at a green light? Go!
It's time for a checkup from the neck up to put yourself in a better state of mind. Sometimes it all seems to be coming at us pretty fast. Our instinct is to conquer our issues before we enjoy our actual life. It seems we just can't get caught up. That's when stress and anxiety absorb everything. Family Services, Inc. is here to get you back to enjoying your life. A call to Family Services will put you on a direct path to more happiness and inner peace. It's time you appreciate the things that matter most. Let the sun heat your back and enjoy the day and laugh with guiltless, stress-free joy. Call Family Services today at 293-4900. That's 293-4900.
I feel good.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well on KSCJ. Here's Art Silva.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well. I'm Art Silva along with Sergeant Tom Gill from the Sioux City Police Department. We're going to discuss the new laws that went into effect on July 1st, specifically dealing with cell phones and fireworks. So, Sergeant Gill, let's talk about the new cell phone law changes.
Sure. So a number of years ago, Iowa passed a law. They called it the texting while driving law. So you're not supposed to be texting on your phone while you're driving. The problem with that law, Art, was that it was tough to enforce that just because someone has a cell phone in their hand, you can't prove that they're texting. They could be operating their GPS. They could be making a phone call. They could be calling 911. So it was tough to enforce that. Distracted driving or texting while driving law. So they went back to the basics and they said, well, let's just make it easier, for the officers and make a hands-free law. So you can't even hold your cell phone in your hand while you're driving. So that law, that went into effect July 1st. And for the first 6 months, so up until December 31st, it's more of an education thing. So if an officer sees you with your phone in your hand, you may get stopped. They're going to educate you on the law and give you a warning. So there'll be warnings all over Iowa until January 1st of 2026, and then there'll be written citations. So if you do get a citation under the hands-free law, it's a $100 fine. If you have a cell phone in your hand or you're manipulating an electronic device and you're involved in an accident or cause an accident, that fine goes up to $500. So it's a serious deal. Distracted driving, just like drunk driving, it causes accidents, it causes deaths. So I think we got it right in Iowa, where it's a law where you got to get that cell phone out of your hand. Some of the newer cars, you can program your phone into your vehicle, and it's voice activated or a one-touch activation. Some have the controls on the steering wheel. You can manipulate that, but you can't have anything in your hand. You want to have both hands on the steering wheel while you're driving.
Well, I think a lot of people would agree that it's a good law. If it's going to save lives, and how many times. Just myself, I can only speak to. I just took my eye off the road for a little second to look at something on my seat, and how much your car will change direction just in that little bit of a second.
You bet.
So you can't be distracted. You're behind the wheel of the car for your safety and the safety of others around you. Yeah, this is a good law, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. And it's going to make your job a lot easier, because we want to get the folks who just don't care.
Right.
Continually do it, and now they become somewhat of a threat to the public safety. You must have come upon accidents and stuff, and I think the first thing you look at is the cell phone to see if somebody was on the phone or something like that may have caused it. So now when we have information like this is happening, we got to take action. So, folks, it's a good law. I love the way it's going to be implemented. You're going to give them a chance.
Right.
You're going to educate you. You got 6 months. And then after that, you're on your own.
Sure. So the way it was before, it was tough. It was tough to enforce because you would have to actually, to find out if they were texting, you would have to get a subpoena for that cell phone. There was a lot of red tape there. So now it's just, hey, if you have that cell phone in your hand or any electronic device, you could get stopped and you could get a citation for it.
Sounds good. Let's talk about the change in the fireworks laws.
Sure. So, a few short years ago, there was a ban. Fireworks in Iowa were banned. And people were upset because they wanted to shoot their fireworks off over the 4th of July. So then they let each city decide how they wanted to set up their ordinances for fireworks. So in Sioux City, we set, times on July 3rd and July 4th, and then on New Year's Eve that you could light fireworks. Now, we get inundated, our comm center gets inundated with calls about fireworks getting shot off in Sioux City. And, 2 weeks before the 4th of July and for 2 weeks after the 4th of July, we'll get calls throughout the day. So Iowa actually changed the law. So all cities have to go by the Iowa law, which is now July 3rd. You can light fireworks off on private property, so in your own property, from 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. on July 3rd, and then from 9 a.m. until 11 p.m. on July 4th. And that's it. It has to be on private property. Our officers are going to concentrate on like our city parks, which we have some beautiful city parks in Sioux City, and on city property. You can't light them off in the street, on the city streets at any time, or you are subject to a citation. And I want to educate the public too. We get so many calls on fireworks. Please don't call our comm center unless you can tell us the address, the description of the person, or maybe you have a picture or a video, because most of our fireworks calls come in like this. Hey, I hear fireworks getting shot off, and it's probably 2 blocks to the east of my house. I don't know an exact location, and that's tough. And by the time the officers get that call, they might be on another call, and by the time they get that, it's probably an hour later, and those fireworks are done anyway. So unless you can tell us the exact address, a description of the person, or a video, and I know it's tough because you don't want to call on your neighbors, but if it's in the 2 o'clock in the morning or in the middle of the night, and it's keeping everybody up in your house, then by all means, call us.
You talk about neighbors. Let's be really considerate, because I've learned through what I've done with Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, you have some folks out there that are really, you take some PTSD vets. You shouldn't do fireworks around these guys. Just a respect for their service. Just be a good neighbor.
That's right.
Know who your neighbors are and what they're going through, and be helpful. Animals are another thing, just be a good neighbor. If you got that much of a craving for fireworks, get out to the Explorers game, either Thursday night or Friday night, because they put on a heck of a show.
They do.
Fireworks.
The Explorers always have a good show.
There's no need to do this. Just be a good neighbor. That's the best advice I could say on fireworks. Just be a good neighbor.
That's right.
So they're all going to change now. What are the fines on fireworks?
So on a fireworks citation, if you were to get a citation, it's a mandatory court appearance. So you have to appear in court, and then the judge will set the fine. It's a simple misdemeanor charge, but it's a court appearance. So if you are caught and cited, then you're going to have to go to court in front of the judge, and then he'll impose the fine. It's usually around $100, between $100 and $200. Another thing that people don't realize too is in Iowa, you have to be 18 years old to possess or to light off fireworks.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So, right, you can't be, 16 years old and try to buy fireworks. And if you look, pretty much every grocery store around Sioux City has a fireworks stand right now. So it's big money.
The big tents.
It's big money on the big tents, but you have to be 18 to purchase the fireworks, and you have to be 18 to possess or light the fireworks off, unless you're under direct supervision of a parent. So if a parent's with you, you can light them off with a parent, but you can't possess them or purchase them under 18.
Well, Sergeant Tom, we sit here well educated Thank you for explaining that. I think folks out there, if you have any questions, please you can refer to it in the paper. You can go online, take a look at what the laws are. But above all, it would be really helpful for the police and service to our community on those calls on fireworks. Call the general phone number. Don't call the 911 unless, as Sergeant Tom said, you know somebody, you can see them, you can describe them, etc. Otherwise, it takes a while, and they are very busy on July 4th. I mean, you got a lot of other things you're dealing with, people out there that really aren't following the rules. So,
right.
Unfortunately. Right. Sergeant Tom, before we break, anything you want to talk about or comment on?
Well, I've been working for the Sioux City Police Department for, 25 years. I just had my 25-year anniversary.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. And it's been almost 30 in law enforcement total. So I've loved it. I've loved working in Sioux City. I think the people here are fantastic. I've raised my family here, and I think Sioux City is the best place to live. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, let me just say to that, ditto. Yeah, I moved here myself, and I absolutely love it here. I've been here going on almost 40 years, and this is home.
Oh, yeah.
So this is all good. Thank you. We're coming up towards the end of our show this week, and we always end with a joke. Humor is good for the soul. So in keeping in the theory of law enforcement, let's go with a joke along those lines. Okay. The perfect crime was committed last night. Someone broke into the police station and stole all the toilets. The police have nothing to go on.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
I'm going to have to tell that one today.
Tom, I got to thank you for coming in today and helping us and sharing your knowledge with the public. And I want to thank our listening public also. I want you to have a great, safe 4th of July out there. We want to give a shout out to all those who will be working on the holiday to serve the community, law enforcement, fire and emergency, hospital workers, etc. Let's hope that their weekend is uneventful. Stuff Thriftique. New stuff is arriving daily. Great time to update your spring wardrobe or furniture needs. Due to popular demand, we have extended our hours. Family Services Breathe Yoga. Remember, yoga classes are held Tuesday and Thursday night at Family Services at 5:30 and Saturdays at 9:30. For information, call Marnie at 293-4919. When things aren't going, we'll be back next Saturday morning right here at 1360 AM, 94.9 FM, KSCJ. Your homework for this week is to go out and have a good laugh. May the sun shine on you.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
For more information on the services provided by Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, see them online at boysandgirlshomeiowa.org. Or you can call 712-293-4700 to get more information about family services, residential treatment, the Opportunity School, the Siouxland Family Center, and more. At Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, we change lives.